Let's turn to Nike. Colin Kaepernick did not like the design of a patriotic sneaker, and the footwear company nixed it. The company now under fire. Jared Max is here with the whole story. Hey, Jared.
Good morning, Dagan. The Nike Air Max 1 USA was created to celebrate our country's independence. But the sneaker will not be sold to the public. The sneakers were shipped to retailers, but then they were told to return them. The heel of the shoe features the Betsy Ross Flag, 13 white stars in a circle, for the 13 U.S. colonies designed during the American Revolution. When former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick saw an image of the sneaker online, he contacted Nike. Made the face of a Nike ad campaign last year, Kaepernick, according to the Wall Street Journal, told Nike officials that he and others find the Betsy Ross flag an offensive symbol connected to slavery. Kaepernick, who transitioned from football player to activist, last played in 2016, initially was thought to be a dangerous choice by many for the Nike campaign, but since its launch, Nike sales have jumped. Great demand in the U.S. and China. Sales were up 4% in last year's fourth quarter to $10.8 billion, and this year the stock is up more than 15%. A Nike spokeswoman says that Nike has chosen to not release the Air Max 1 Quick Strike 4th of July, as it featured an old version of an American flag. Some sneakers made it to the black market and now are a hot item. And NFL Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer Tim Ellis spoke with Mornings with Maria about the challenge of rebranding the NFL after Kaepernick's controversies and the protests.
When you first came into the job, the whole NFL was being debated. You had the Colin Kaepernick, taking a knee. You had concussions. You had all this stuff going on. You come in and you do a rebranding, and I want to talk about that because obviously it is working.
I felt like when I came into the NFL, we had a little bit begin to let others tell our story, and we needed to get back to telling our own story and controlling our own narrative, and we needed to get back to the love and the joy of football, which is really why everybody watches the NFL.
So I want to point out this flag. It's traditionally called the Betsy Ross Flag. It has 13 white stars on it. It was created during the American Revolution. Jack Brewer, what do you make of this?
This is America. These are the conversations we need to finally have. The reason why Colin Kaepernick stands against a flag like that is the same reason why I would not wear that flag on my feet. I wouldn't wear a Confederate flag. I live in Florida. When I drive through Central Florida, you still see the Confederate flags flying. That is the America that we live. Hold on. Let me finish. You have to understand that the American flag does not have 3 stars around it, right? Then, if you read 13 stars, I'm sorry. If you listen to the Star Spangled Banner that was written at the time that this flag was made, right? It talked about protecting everybody except for the slaves that were running away. Okay, so that represents a bad part of America for a lot of people. If I was Nike, I would put a modern-day flag where all Americans have rights and everyone can stand up. I'll be at 4th of July in Cable, Wisconsin, lighting off fireworks, celebrating the best country on earth. But this flag has no place in my house, on my feet, and I don't want to see it.
But Colin Kaepernick is essentially running Nike, is he not?
No.
They're putting more and more of their brand on him if he calls the shots like this.
I think this situation is different, Dagan. I do not agree with everything Colin Kaepernick does. You know that. I don't agree with his approach to everything. I would have handled the situation much differently. I choose to go into the communities that are suffering. I don't blame things on our cops. But this situation is different because you have a time in American history where this country was built off slavery. And if you have a flag that was representing all those except for a slave, we weren't even a whole person in our Constitution when this flag was made.
I wanted to point out the Star Spangled Banner was written some years later because the Star Spangled Banner was written
by Francis
about. Right. It was 1814 is when it was written, and it was in 1931 became the America's national anthem. So it was some years later. This is a flag that was designed during the American Revolution.
Even worse, Dagan, the American Revolution was fought
1770s.
In the 1770s, a black person was not even didn't even equal a person.
Let me ask you this,
during that time in American history.
But again, the Wall Street Journal goes into this. The flag's use is not that widespread. There have been some accusations that this flag has been appropriated by extremist groups, white supremacists. But if all people don't feel that way, is this really that risky a move for Nike to put this shoe out? And by the way, it is out and it's selling. There was one pair that went for $2,000. Sneaker exchanges. Yeah.
If you wore the shoe, right, or Jared Max wore the shoe, it wouldn't offend me. I'm not wearing the shoe.
Would you feel like I was a bigot or a racist if I wore that shoe?
Not at all, because it doesn't represent that to you. Just the same way that we had to debate about the American flag. The American flag represents the American soldiers, people over there fighting. That's a totally different conversation.
So you think Nike made the right move?
I think they made the right move.
I will leave it at that. We're going to talk about this more. See, we can have these conversations.
No, we can. We love each other. We're Americans first.
Amen. Jared, thank you. Jared Mack.